All right, next question goes to Kyle. As you look at the hospitality space, what technology is getting traction there but hasn't reached multifamily yet, but you think might get there soon? So kind of what's on the horizon?
Yes, I think we've talked about Wi-Fi a little bit, and I think that's probably at the forefront for a shift into multifamily as a bulk service. Uh, but another piece that's really common in hospitality, very well used in hospitality, that has a ton of applications for multifamily is digital signage. There's a lot of features built into side of digital signage that are beyond just a communication tool where you sit there and read it, but an interactive tool that allows residents or potential residents to really engage with the property, better understand what's going on. It frees up time for property staff or engineers. It can be used to book areas of the property, whether it's a clubhouse space or a pool space, whatever it may be. That is a really easy to install and easily transferable type of solution that works well in multifamily, and we believe is going to go a really long way. The other piece I believe too that's strong in multifamily, that's very common in hospitality now and growing still in hospitality, is that virtual interaction. So in a hospitality space, that's traditionally a virtual check-in and going to my room and using my phone to get in my room. Same kind of thing when it comes to an apartment or a multifamily or a condo, whatever it may be. It allows for a property owner or property manager to do a lot more from a lot of different spaces. They can be remote. They can do web-based showings, allow access into units for a limited period of time. But I believe that those three areas, probably in that order, are making a really strong emergence into multifamily, as well as still growing outside of hospitality.
Additional thoughts on that?
Just that, just on the horizon. This is an existing product that RealPage has had for quite some time, but and it's not necessarily tech. Rewards, right? We talk a lot about hospitality and that, I just got Marriott points from staying last night, right? I chose Marriott. RealPage chooses Marriott, so we can all get those points and stay with the same type of vendor, right? Why wouldn't you want to do that with your brand and your residents? So having the residents rent the pool amenities or the fitness organization through the app and then get rewarded on top of that. Through a point system, and they can accumulate so many points that then would give them some sort of monetization, right? A Target gift card or Uber Eats on Us. So making it kind of sticky for those residents to use the amenities that you've poured heavy amounts of investment in at the build, right? So that's something that's not necessarily on the horizon, but it's definitely something that a lot of people look at referrals about the community and they look at, do they have a reward system so that I can keep that cyclical behavior of, I love to live here and I'm going to reward the company for that. And the company rewards you and it just keeps going around. I could keep doing it. Keep saying it.
Makes sense. Looking at, as I imagine many of you here have existing properties that were built, either from a few years to a few decades ago. And as you're thinking about, what can I do to retrofit, to have technology be leveraged, but do so in a cost-effective way? So I want to punt this to Kyle. Do you have any advice for those here in the audience who have older properties? How can they retrofit and get the most bang for their buck?
Again, another great question. One of the things I think that's really important to discuss and prepare for as multifamily begins to grow in some of this smart technology or IoT of the world, especially in an existing property in a retrofit environment, is all of this stuff is fantastic. And we all want it on some level to interact with it. It helps our day-to-day lives better. It helps the management of a property much, much better. But it's not always just a plug and play. You really need the infrastructure to support set-in solutions. Digital infrastructure as a whole is vital to this, making sure that you can supply the proper amount of bandwidth over the existing infrastructure to support these type of solutions, I think is probably the most important piece of the puzzle that's very often overlooked. And it's not always, a common rip out what I have now and replace it with, current fiber and Cat6 cable and move and start adding everything after that. That can get pretty expensive, especially in an existing environment where there's some construction involved. There are a lot of retrofit solutions that can take existing infrastructure and bring it up to date and be able to shoot, 10 gigabit speeds across an existing coax infrastructure, or convert, an older environment into a fiber environment using some of our retrofit solutions that we have that sit inside the floorboard of a property and make a single penetration, quarter of an inch into a unit. So I think first and foremost, you've got to start with that infrastructure and have a plan in place for growth. In terms of bang for buck, I would say access control and something simple as smart thermostats and leak detection. They do not cost a lot of money. They're more and more commonly used in a lot of environments, so it's easy for a resident to pick up, allows them to control their stuff here and there. And then if you start to lean into the leak detection and the plumbing detection things, that can be a huge cost savings for a property owner. You're at 2 o'clock in the morning, a pipe begins to leak, you're flooding an apartment, you have no clue till a guy shows up the next morning for their shift, and you've got thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage already done. With this type of newer hardware and software in place, these sensors allow you to detect a leak immediately and press a button on your phone, your laptop, whatever it may be, and shut that water valve off remotely. So you prevent potential large, costly expenses associated to water damage and other things, with a push of a button.
Well said. Other thoughts?
I had one, but it's not really relative. Well, I guess it is. He talked a lot about risk and costs association, or loss of cost, loss. One of the things that we promote when it comes to self-guided touring is IDV, right? He's talking about controlled access of who to let in the building, but even if you let that person—
Explain IDV as an acronym.
Sorry, identity verification.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So even though you're letting that person in and they have a fake ID, or they have stolen somebody's ID that may look like them, or whatever it may be, the 3 steps that we have secured that IDV can save thousands of dollars. So we have IDV at point of sale, which is the leasing process, right? They're going to tour. Point of screening, and then wait, I think I skipped one. Yeah, at the tour, at the lease signing, so we screen, and then I really did lose it. Screening, touring, and nope, it's not even there in my head. Anyway, we have that security for you guys to make sure that you're taking those steps to remove that risk or loss as well, because fraudulent activity is running rampant across the apartment community today.
So maybe the third one is just visitors and doing a verification when people came to visit the property?
Like vendors.
Sure.
We do have that, vendor credentialing, but no, it'll pop in as I'm on my way home to Greenville to see my babies.
Let's see. So to the two of you, any other technologies that you see are on the horizon that maybe haven't quite made it to multifamily yet, but that you're anxiously awaiting to see how it will be incorporated?
Absolutely. It's a common conversation we have on all of our properties, older and newer, is package delivery and handling that system. There's still no clean solution that exists in the market. And whether it taxes our current staff too much, or the upfront cost, or just the basic function and feasibility of dealing with the abundance of packages that we receive daily, and especially at move-ins.
Oh,
so
yes, students.
That would be my challenge to all the innovators out in this audience, is come up with a way to solve packages.
What is the current solution that you're using in your newest properties?
In our current structure, we have Luxor, but we don't do the lockers. We just do a room, and so we still have to third party the organization of all those packages. That's problematic.
If I remember, having worked with Katie in the past, that solution sends some type of notification to the resident they have a package. They go to a door. They're given a a PIN code to open the door.
That's correct.
And there's now video surveillance, so you can see who it was who opened it, video surveillance in the room, but then all the packages are just kind of there, and you're trusting they'll grab the right one, because if not, they're on camera, and you'll be able to figure out who it was.
So yeah, from that perspective, from our staff perspective, or they can't find a package, so now they pull someone from the leasing office, and it's really an issue that we have not got our arms around yet.
So just out of curiosity, anyone here in the room feel like they've nailed that solution so far? Okay, yeah. If you guys haven't figured it out, I wouldn't think that anyone else has. Okay.
Open to any suggestions.
This may be a stupid suggestion, and I'm okay with saying that up here. Have we ever thought about building an apartment building with 2 doors, sort of a front porch, and then your Amazon guys can access through a smart access lock, open that one, drop the package, and then...
You're one step from brilliant. We were just having this conversation last night with another vendor.
Well, it's, you know, a front porch would be you know, an ideal situation.
And it feels like, you know, I think there's a lot of companies, Amazon being the foremost, who are trying to figure this out, not just on a multifamily. You know, they have the same experience with residential homes of saying, you know, we've got so many porch pirates out there. You know, where can we put this?
Right.
And I know that some of the garage controller vendors are partnering with Amazon to say, hey, we're going to enable it so that an Amazon driver can open your garage door, stick that in, and that is kind of that in-between place to place it, close the garage door, and then the residents can get it. It's the same type of solution. So. That might be it.
Okay, never a stupid question, guys. No.